Now it's time for the best part of the show. Trade targets. All right, welcome back, ballers. Now, this segment is called Trade Targets. And today, my trade target is going to be somebody that you probably, you're going to have to pay full price on, and it's going to be worth every single red cent. That's going to be Mr. James Cook for the Buffalo Bills. This season coming in, I was pretty big, like everyone else, on Josh Allen. But one thing I noticed about the Bills, they're going to kind of play what the defense gives them instead of trying to force it, which is going to end up being better football for Buffalo. But from a fantasy standpoint, I think the one consistent thing that's going to happen is James Cook's going to get his touches, because right now, just 4 games in, he's already at 75 touches. He has 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. So that's just rushing yards, not including receiving. So he's been on a tear. And if you watch him in the games, he's almost like moving faster than everybody else on the field. Like everyone else is in slow motion. And he's just kind of like running through the scrimmage line. So I'm definitely pretty excited for him. But like I said, you're going to have to pay full price, but it's worth it.
Man, he looks like an absolute machine. He's just unstoppable. I know you and I were higher on him than most people going into the season, but I don't think anyone expected this. We were both talking about touchdown regression because, 2 years ago, he scored like 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns or something. Yeah. And then we said, oh, he's going to score a lot more. And sure enough, he did. And then this year we're like, I don't think he's going to be able to do that again. No, I think he is going to do that again and then some. And you're right. It is better football. So I get it. But having Josh Allen on like 3 teams, it's a little disappointing. But hey, I got James Cook on 1 team too. So we're all good.
Oh, yeah.
You are going to pay full price for him. But yeah, it's worth every red cent, like you said.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to talk about a running back too by the name of Derrick Henry. Ooh, I think it's a great time to grab Derrick Henry from a disappointed manager. Justice Hill had a monster game against Kansas City, but 71 of his 76 rushing yards came off of 1 carry. He had 3 carries, and that was one of them for 71 yards. And, I mean, whoever has Derrick Henry is probably going to know that. I'm sure they were watching the game. So focus on what Justice Hill is doing as a pass catcher, as your selling point. Just go over his targets because I think this is a notable stat that you should bring up. If you look at his targets and yardage over the first 4 weeks, this is for Justice Hill. Week 1, he had 2 targets and 1 catch for 3 yards. Week 2, he had 3 targets and 3 catches for 18 yards. And then week 3, he had 4 targets and 3 catches for 45 yards. And then took another step in week 4. He had 6 targets, 5 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. And again, week 4, he also had 76 rushing yards and a touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns. So if you want to just mention that and just say, hey, I'm just going over Justice Hill's stats. Now let's take a look at Derrick Henry over the last 3 weeks, because week 1, he had a monster week. So don't bring that up. But week 2, he had 11 rushes for 23 yards. Week 3, he had 12 rushes for 50 yards. Oof. And then week 4, he had 8 rushes for 52 yards. So just bring that up and then, mention the fact that, hey, he's not even involved as a pass catcher. He's 31 years old. And here's the thing. Although Justice Hill is going to remain involved in the offense, this is Derrick Henry's backfield. The last 3 weeks have been disappointing, but he played Cleveland, Detroit, and Kansas City. Those are tough matchups. And if Lamar misses time, the Ravens are going to lean on Henry even more. So he's clearly, even if, let's say, Lamar is 100% healthy, Derrick Henry's going to bounce back in a huge way. I'm not worried about him at all. And Justice Hill had 1 good game. Okay, who cares? All you do is talk about his stats over the first 4 weeks. Say, hey, man, looks like they're shifting towards Justice Hill. Why don't you give me Derrick Henry? We can make something. We'll give you a 2 for 1. It'll be a good deal. And then Henry, I guarantee you, is going to go off the rest of the season. So I think you should target him now because his price tag is not going to get lower than it is right now.
Joe, that's a great point. Something I didn't think of is, you're right, Justice Hill has been seeing production, but it's possible to have 2 solid running backs on 1 fantasy team, right? Like And and that's something I was talking to some guys in our league here, when they were talking about Derrick Henry being stack boxes. He's been playing stack boxes his whole career. Like, this is nothing new. When he's on the Titans, who
Yeah.
was the threat, right? Vince Young? Get out of here. Everybody's been stacking the box, and he still looked like, he's not the Derrick Henry we've seen in his prime, but let me tell you, he's still in the back end of his
Oh
prime.
yeah, he's not far off.
He's slowing down a little bit, but not to the point where you can write him off. And with no Lamar Jackson, he 100% is going to go off. So you're right. After this week, everybody's going to buy high on him again.
Yeah. So try to get him if you can, but good luck. He's also going to have despite the last 3 weeks, he's going to have a high price tag as well. You got anyone else you're going to target?
Yeah, definitely. I really liked. Well, I already targeted him last week, and I got him in both leagues, both my fantasy leagues. But RJ Harvey, somebody that I was pretty big on, like just as a late piece, late bloomer. And sometimes you got guys that are going to take a while to integrate in that offense. But when you saw him on Monday night playing in Denver, that kid looked special. Like, I think he was the quickest guy on the field. And yeah, he's like 5'9", 5'10". He's not the biggest guy, but man, like, if you don't look at him in that moment, he's gone. That's how fast he is. So I'm pretty happy with him. He's somebody that you can target, and his matchups are only going to get better because his last few weeks, fantasy playoffs, so weeks 14, 15, 16, and 17. So 14 is Las Vegas, terrible defense. Week 15, Green Bay, solid, good defense, right? Then week 16 is Jacksonville. So that's going to be your semifinals. And then the championship, of course, is going to be against Kansas City. Now, obviously, somebody like that, you're like Kansas City, they're going to do great or at shutting down the run, and they always do. But one thing that, does produce here in fantasy is that scat back, right? That pass catching back that kind of moves here. And everyone talks about Joker for, Sean Payton, right? Like back in his New Orleans days, it was Jimmy. Was that tight end Jimmy Graham?
Yeah.
So they had Jimmy Graham, and I think that RJ Harvey's that guy. They're going to move him behind the line of scrimmage, take carries, but then they're going to probably move him out in the slot more, send him out wide, put him in motion, and he's going to be a guy that's just really going to blow up second half of the season. So right now, I think it's a good price to pay for him, and it's not going to be that expensive.
Yeah, I think that's a great call too. And we've been pretty high on Denver. I think everyone, the consensus was pretty high on Denver as an offense this year. And, all around, they're a great team, but I feel like they're heating up. And all the running backs that we've been disappointed in, they really seem to come together in week 4. And we kind of knew that they weren't just going to hit the ground running. We all assumed that it's going to take a minute to heat up, but it looks like all the guys we've been keeping our eye on are heating up, and he's definitely one of them. I have him in a few leagues, and I didn't start him in any of those leagues last week, but I'm probably going to start him in week 5. Now, another player I'm kind of targeting, well, just in one league, but if you're in need of a tight end, I think you should look into Kyle Pitts. Whether we want to accept it or not, he's a top 10 tight end right now. He's averaging 6 targets and 11.6 fantasy points per game. And the chances are that right now he's sitting on someone's bench as a backup. So the Falcons are on a bye this week. If you need a tight end and you can afford to keep Pitts on your bench for the bye week, this is a good time to pick him up because he's probably been sitting on someone's bench for the first month of the season. Maybe they did play him this week because he's been pretty consistent. All 4 weeks, he's looked pretty good. But if it's a bye week and they're 1-3 or they're 2-2 and they have another tight end, this is the time to strike. So if you need a tight end, yeah, it's not like a guy that you're confident in because of his history, but he's had 4 weeks in a row that for a tight end, they're completely fine. So I would start him. I grabbed him off my brother. I suckered him into a running back, and he's in need. He's 1-3. So I got Kyle Pitts on my team now, and there's another league where I'm trying to get him as well because he kind of looks like the guy we saw from his rookie year, and I'm going to take my chance at the tight end position.
And we don't do this a lot, but I do disagree with just valuing tight ends in general. Like your top, it's like we've been talking in the last few years. Like tight ends, tight end 1, 2, and 3, you're going to be between 15 and 20 points a game. Everything after that, you're looking at 10 to 12. And unfortunately, just I took the same approach when I drafted. I got a tight end rounds 10, 11, and 12, and guess who was there? Round 10 was Ferguson. 11 was Dalton Kincaid, and 12 was Zach Ertz, right? So you were able to get like these top quality tight ends pretty consistently in the draft. So when it comes to like the team, if I'm not trading, I would not value them more than a flex play, right? Find somebody that needs a position. If you have a steady surplus of running backs and they got a wide receiver core that's great, perfect. Then make that play, right?
Oh yeah.
But don't overvalue the tight end position.
Oh, not at all. I'm just saying if you're in need, because like you said, like I have Ertz in 3 leagues and he's been fine. I'm totally cool starting him. And this is someone that wasn't really on anyone's radar coming in, but you and I, we know how Ertz plays. He's a solid guy every week. It's nothing crazy, but it's consistent. And I actually feel like that's what Kyle Pitts is doing, is nothing crazy. It's just consistent. So at a position where right now you're hoping for 5 or 6 points, if you don't have a starting tight end, then I'm saying, yeah, a flex spot. If you're in a double flex league or you're in a 3 wide receiver league, probably want to be more careful. But if you're just in a typical league with 1 flex spot and 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, yeah, if you got an extra play on your bench and you need a tight end, I'd make a trade for him. If you're just looking for a consistent floor of 8 to 10 points, like I said, right now he's averaging 11.6. That's pretty good for a tight end. So,
yeah, I'll take that.